Buddy's Road Trip, A Story of a Dog's Adventures Across America. By Kumu Kawahine. Inspired by my adventurous man and his dachshund. Love you both, Mike and Buddy Santa Maria. Table of Content. Chapter 1, The Adventure Begins. Chapter 2, Overcoming Obstacles. Chapter 3, Making New Friends. Chapter 4, Protecting the Environment. Chapter 5, The Final Leg of the Journey. Chapter 6, The End of the Journey. Chapter 1. The Adventure Begins. Meet Buddy. He comes from a family of dachshunds. Buddy has always been an inquisitive and adventurous dog. He lived in a small town with his family. Buddy was very close to his family, but unlike his siblings, he always had a longing to backpack across the state and maybe farther someday. He dreamed of seeing the world. The day eventually came when Buddy decided it was time. Time to set out on his journey. He packed his bag and said his goodbyes to his family. He was excited and filled with anticipation. He couldn't wait to see what the road had in store for him. Although he would miss his family, he was overjoyed with excitement as he began his adventure. As Buddy hit the road, he took advantage of each experience, and as he traveled he made sure to notice each encounter, recognizing new sights, sounds, and people. He saw mountains, oceans, and deserts, and he met all sorts of creatures along the way. He was having the time of his life. The daily experiences were usually remarkable. However, Buddy faced a few challenges along the way as well. The weather was one of those challenges at times. There were times when it rained, and he had to find shelter. Sometimes the heat was unbearable, and Buddy needed to find shade. Other times, he got lost and had to rely on his instincts to find his way. But Buddy was a brave dog and never lost his sense of adventure. As Buddy continued his journey, he found more and more exciting experiences. He visited famous landmarks, hiked in national parks, and tried new foods. He met new animal friends and learned about different species and their habitats. And he learned a lot about taking care of the environment. Buddy was having the adventure of a lifetime, and he couldn't wait for his next adventure. Chapter 2. Overcoming Obstacles. One day, Buddy woke up to find that it was raining heavily. He had been traveling for several days and was starting to feel hungry, tired, and lonely. At that moment, Buddy was reminded of how long he dreamt of this adventure. That reminder was what he needed. He refused to let the rain dampen his spirit. He put on his raincoat and set out to find food and shelter. As he walked, Buddy noticed that he was lost. He had never been to this part of the country before, and he didn't recognize any of the sights or sounds around him. He started to feel scared and unsure of what to do. But then, Buddy remembered that he was brave and adventurous. He decided to ask for help from the animals he met along the way. And that's how he met a group of friendly squirrels who offered to share their nuts with him and showed him the way to a cozy barn where he could take shelter from the rain. Buddy was so grateful for the help of the squirrels. He realized that he didn't have to face his challenges alone and that he could make new friends along the way. The rain finally stopped, and Buddy set out on his journey again. This time, he was stronger and more determined than ever before. He knew that he could overcome any obstacle that came his way. Chapter 3. Making New Friends. One day, Buddy came across a beautiful lake surrounded by tall trees. He was so tired from all the walking that he decided to take a rest by the lake. As he was lying down, he saw a group of ducks swimming by. They were making so much noise that he couldn't help but bark and say hello. To Buddy's surprise, the ducks approached him and started chatting. They told him all about their home by the lake and the adventures they had had. Buddy learned that although they were different types of animals, they had much in common. The ducks invited Buddy to join them for a swim in the lake. Buddy was so happy to have made even more friends along the way. They spent the whole day playing together, and Buddy learned all sorts of new things from the ducks. He learned how to dive and catch fish and even learned a new trick. The ducks taught him how to hunt in the water. As the sun started to set, Buddy realized that it was time for him to continue on his journey. He said goodbye to his new friends and promised to come back and visit them soon. Buddy headed out feeling very grateful for his new friends and all the fun memories he shared with them. He was so happy to have met all the different creatures along the way and his new experiences. Chapter 4. Protecting the environment. As Buddy continued his journey, he came across a beautiful beach that was covered in trash. He was sad to see that this place was being ruined by litter and pollution. Buddy asked other animals who lived near the beach what the problem was. They explained that some people just didn't care about their environment and had no sense of awareness. Buddy was determined to do his part and started by picking up the litter. Buddy learned the importance of reducing, reusing, and recycling. He saw how small deeds, like picking up your own trash and conserving water, made a huge difference and everyone should do their part. Buddy continued to visit other places and always remembered the lessons he learned along the way. He was happy to make a difference. Chapter 5. The final leg of the journey. His happy memories shifted to his family and at that moment he realized how much he missed his home and his family. So, with a heavy heart, Buddy said goodbye to all of his new friends and started on the final leg of his journey. He was sad to be leaving, but he was also very excited to see his family again and share all his experiences with them. As Buddy made his way home, he thought about all of the amazing times he had on his road trip. He made new friends, helped to care for the environment, and discovered things about himself like how adventurous he was. When Buddy arrived back home, he was greeted with open arms by his family. They were so happy to see him, and they were amazed by all of the things he had done. Buddy was happy to be back home, but he knew that his road trip had changed him in many ways. He would never forget the amazing adventures he had, and he would always be grateful for all of the things he had learned. Chapter 6. The end of the journey. Buddy was finally back home and happy to be surrounded by his family and friends again. He had had the adventure of a lifetime and was grateful for everything he had learned and experienced. Buddy would never forget the amazing sights he saw, the friends he made, and the impact his travels had on his life. He knew that his road trip had changed him in many ways, and he was proud of his accomplishments. As Buddy settled back into life at home, he realized that the journey was just as important as the destination. He had learned so much about himself and the world and had grown in ways he could never have imagined. Buddy would always cherish the memories of his road trip and knew that one day soon, he would be going on another adventure. The end.